What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 12 of This About That. Tyler, how are we doing, buddy?
We are doing fantastic. Had a little hiatus, little break for us, but we are back.
Yes, we are back.
Excited.
We are excited. We have a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to jump right in it. So today I saw that the Dallas Cowboys signed CeeDee Lamb to a 4-year deal, $136 million, making him the second highest paid player in history, or non-paid QB in the in NFL history, and I think that's absolutely insane.
Mm-hmm.
I think CeeDee Lamb is a good football player. I do, but the thing is, I think it's the first thing that Jerry Jones has done right with that organization in years, and he also, on top of that, gets a $38 million signing bonus. And I mean, I think he deserves the money. Just looking at his stats here,
he's got $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a wild number, and to think that it's the second highest paid player, non-QB in NFL history, is just crazy to me. Just going through and looking at these stats and all this stuff, I mean, it's pretty impressive. 2023 had 135 catches, 1,749 yards, and 12 TDs. That's a good year. That's a good year. That's quite a bit of yards, and he deserves that money after that season. 2022, 107, 1359, and 9 TDs. Pretty consistent for the 2023 and 2022 season. I was looking a little bit before that. He was kind of transitioning to the league a little bit, didn't have as much pop, but I mean, just looking at his stats the last 2 seasons, I mean, it stands out. And to be honest with you, I think CeeDee Lamb is by far the best player on that organization. So you get rid of him, I mean, what does that leave you as far as Dallas trying to take a step forward? Now,
Jerry Jones, for some reason, like every time he goes, people are like, "Hey, you're going to sign CeeDee Lamb?" He goes, "I don't give a fuck if we sign him." That definitely means he gives a fuck.
He's a freaking
he does that every time.
I've been saying this, dude. I hate that guy. Geriatric Jones. That's my nickname for him. He does nothing for them. He just likes being under the Dallas Cowboys name, being the America's team and having that label, but not doing anything. Like he just wears this little suit and walks around like he fucking is contributing, and he's doing nothing. I mean, the Cowboys, looking at their playoff history, 2023, and I said this before, for some reason, and I'm a Niner fan, we get to the Super Bowl, we don't win the Super Bowl. I take acceptance. I'm not, for you Cowboy fans, don't come at me, "Oh, you guys lose all the Super Bowl." I'm admitting it. We do. We choke in the Super Bowl. But you guys can't seem to make it past. You get to 2023, wild card loss to the Packers. 2022, wild card win. Here's where I'm coming with this. You guys get past the wild card, boom, divisional loss to my Niners. Suck it. 2021, wild card loss. Guess again, 49ers. 2020, COVID. 2019 did not make the playoffs. 2018, reoccurring theme, wild card win against the Seahawks. Divisional round loss to the Rams. This is the thing that I can't stand about Dallas, is like they want to be the America's team. They want to have the glamour, the pop, but these guys don't do shit in the playoffs. And Dak Prescott, I'm going to say this right now, he is a glorified regular season hero. I don't care what stats you bring up. I really don't care. I don't think he's a good start. I think he's, in my opinion, I don't think he's on the bottom tier list for me with starting quarterbacks. I think there's plenty of people better. And it's just like, dude, like, even when Tony Romo was there, same thing. I mean, it's either wild card. I think they had a few divisional round wins. I don't know. I'm going to have to sharpen up on that fact, but it was the same with Tony Romo, because I always remembered arguing with my good buddy Mason, because he thought, Dallas was the cream of the crop. I was like, dude, you guys, Tony Romo was not, he was, like I said, regular season hero, just like Dak. He made it happen, but like playoffs coming around, I don't think there was much success there. Don't quote me 100%, but I do remember growing up and remembering the Cowboys being pretty much the same they have been, as of recent.
And I think that Dak gets the hate because Cowboys fans sometimes talk about Dak like he's in the same category as a Josh Allen, as a Patrick Mahomes, as any of those top guys. And he's not a top guy. He's a middle of the road, top 10 to like 10, 11, 12, 13. That's where he lives.
Sure.
Those are the spots where he is in the quarterback rankings.
Yep.
Sure, he's going to have years where he's great. Derek Carr had years when he was great, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I look at them kind of similar. If you can't build a great roster around him, then you're never going to go anywhere. And that's just the way I feel about there's a billion quarterbacks like that. Kirk Cousins, same way. Jared Goff in the same position. Like these guys can have a great year if you have the pieces around them, right? Like Jared Goff, if you were to throw him out into a different organization without the defense that the Lions have and without all the offensive weapons, he might not have as great of a time, like he struggled on the Rams at times. But now he's in a good situation. You have to put your quarterback, if they're not a showstopper like Patrick Mahomes, and again, Patrick Mahomes is amazing, but he's in a great situation. We don't know if he was in a bad situation. If he was on the Bears 3 years ago, would he have had the same amount of success? Maybe, maybe not. Sure. But he's the kind of guy who can make those plays, and he's the kind of quarterback that wins you games.
Yeah.
Dak Prescott's the kind of quarterback who you can hope he's going to win you a couple games. He'll probably do that, right? Going back. Derek Carr, Jared Goff, those are kind of guys that a couple years ago, they can win you a couple games by themselves. They can't win you all their games. So That's where if you don't have a good roster around some of these quarterbacks, you're never going to be able to go anywhere. And that's just the NFL.
And that's why I think the CeeDee Lamb deal is just huge for them because it's like you're keeping that talent in Dallas, but you need to build more.
Yeah, they did nothing.
I don't the offseason. You hear from the NFL boys. You just kind of hear about Jerry Jones not signing anybody, not making any deals. I don't think they had a good draft. I honestly don't even remember any of their picks, but I know some of the boys were like, "What is Dallas doing?"
What did they grab?
Yeah, let's take a look.
Fat F from most of the news sources on their offseason grade.
Yeah, and this is kind of going back to what you said with how they're kind of in the same realm. It's like Derek Carr and Dak Prescott. I'm glad you kind of brought that up because it's almost like it's similar play. Like these guys, like sure they're going to have their not great seasons, but they're going to win you some games. But like you said, you don't build around that talent. There's not much these guys can do. They're not showstoppers. I don't, and Dak getting CeeDee Lamb to, get this deal and signing and still having him on his team is huge. But it's just like, I just think Dak is just always a step behind.
They took a tackle, an offensive tackle, an edge rusher, a center, a linebacker, a corner, a wide receiver, another tackle, and an interior defensive lineman.
I knew they needed some guys up front, especially because they got rid of Neville Gallimore, who is a 2 and 3 guy. He's with Miami now, I believe.
Is Zach Martin still there?
Man, I have no idea. I don't even know if Zach Martin, does he still play? Let me see this because I haven't heard that name in a while.
Yeah, he's in there. Still playing.
Yeah, he is still playing.
He's only like 30 or 31. He was drafted in 2014.
Yeah, he got drafted in 2014. I feel like he's been there way longer. I don't know. That's the feeling I get. He's good, but I think it was the surrounding cast. I think it was just developing more interior guys, and I think it's just allowing I think what Dallas wants to do is pretty much just allow Dak to do whatever the fuck he wants to do, like in that pocket. They don't want any pressure because there are some guys that can handle the pressure and can make good throws. There's a ton of quarterbacks out there that have done that, and I don't think Dak is like that. Like you said, he's going to win you a few games, but I don't think he's a showstopper. I don't think he's one of those guys that can just win it on himself. And you got to start developing, the players elsewhere. You got CeeDee Lamb. I don't even know who else he's throwing to be honest with you. I don't know any wide receivers for Dallas, but CeeDee Lamb obviously rings a bell. So I think just Dallas needs a lot of help, So with that being said, we're going to get on to our college football week 1 predictions. We technically had week 1 last week with some games, but there wasn't as many big ones. There is a few games that I want to go over, and I picked basically, I think 5 or 6 of the biggest games coming up this weekend, including Thursday game, which this first one I'm going to mention is a little weird, but first one, North Dakota State versus Colorado. Let's look at Colorado. Mm-hmm. Last year they won 4 games, correct? I think they went 4-12 or 4 and something. Let's check. Hold on. I just want to get that right. 4-8. Don't know why I said 4-12. I'm stupid. 4-8. And the year before that, they won 1 game. and I believe that was against Texas State, if I'm not mistaken. So
And
they have Deion Sanders. Huh?
This is NC State?
And North Dakota State, the FCS killer. This is why I bring this game up. In Colorado, we've got Deion Sanders. You got all the flashy players. They're starting to bring in more guys. But, they talked that talk last year and got smacked right in the mouth. Oregon, big game. They're all talking, these guys are small. This guy's this. Head coach goes in for Oregon. He's like, we're playing for wins. They're playing for clicks, and absolutely whooped that ass. And I think that goes right back on Deion Sanders. I love the guy. I think he's cool, but he teaches these players too much cockiness. I'm sorry. I don't care if people come after me for it. I'm sorry. There's a way to coach, and I hope he has a better year than he did last year. I know how Colorado was extremely bad and in really bad shape, and they basically starting from day one. But, there's a level to confidence and being cocky, and that team had no reason to go in there on the pre-warm-ups and talk any shit because they just beat an overranked TCU team that lost to Georgia in the Natty by 55.
Well, it's crazy.
It's just wild to me that people were like, oh, my God.
Then they beat that team, right? They beat that team. Okay. Then they go and beat some.
They had, let's see their record. I'm very curious on their schedule.
Look at the schedule real quick. Yeah.
Where is the schedule and results? There we go.
Yeah. So they beat TCU. Then they beat Nebraska.
Yep.
And they beat Colorado State.
In a shocking back and forth physical ass football game. Then they go.
They got ranked after that. After that game, and they were like the 14th ranked school in the nation. For what reason? Yeah,
they're not. It looks like they were ranked 18th after Nebraska, and then 19th after that Colorado State game. They lose to Oregon, who was ranked, USC, who was ranked. That game was a back and forth, but I'm going to say it right now. USC has no defense. They never have. It's always a fucking shootout with that team. Sorry. Don't like USC. I think they're just an overrated school, but whatever. They beat Arizona State, who was crap, by 3 points. Yeah. They lost to Stanford. How the hell do you lose to Stanford? They lost to Sac State last season.
They lost to Stanford. They just started getting packed up.
They lost to Sacramento State. Sac State, the Hornets, Go Drager, went in, and I had money on them on a parlay, and I took Sac State because I knew how bad Stanford was. And you go in and you lose to a team that hasn't had a winning record. I don't even remember the last time Stanford was. I remember going to games when I was a kid playing in football because we had one of our teammates' dads played for Stanford, so we got tickets, and that's when they were halfway decent. Now they're crap. Stanford's embarrassing, and now they're in the ACC. Don't know how that's going to go. Moving on. Lost to UCLA ranked, lost to Oregon State ranked, lost to Arizona ranked, lost to Washington State, who was not ranked, and lost to Utah, who was not ranked. They lost their last 6 games in a row. And North Dakota State, they are the FCS killer for a reason. I think North Dakota State's going to win that game. They have proven time in time again that they beat ranked Kansas State a long time ago, Iowa, both Power 5 schools. And, their offense is almost impossible to stop. They run I don't even know what. It's like a stacked – they have 2 fullbacks, tight ends, pretty much just ISO, double ISO, just send these guys I don't even know if I'm saying this right, but just send 2 fullbacks up the hole, they pull a guard, and you can't stop them. And that's why it's so hard to defend them. But I think North Dakota State's going to win that game. T-Lou, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't have too much skin in that game. I don't know enough about who they got on their roster or how they built last. But nothing makes me happier than seeing Shedeur Sanders lose. So
yeah, you have to kind of go with the underdogs here. It's almost too perfect that North Dakota State's getting yet another chance to beat this hyped up team, and they have beat FBS schools in the past. So I think North Dakota State's winning this one, and a lot of people are probably going to come after me for that one, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
I'm going to give you my game that I'm excited for.
Sure, let's do it.
And this one is just a fun one, I think.
I think I got one on the we might have the same one, but I don't know if you're going psychopathic on me.
It's just exciting because it's just, classic college football atmosphere. I think it's going to be.
Oh, I know what you're going to say.
We'll see which one it is coming out on top. But I think it's going to be the Southern Utah Thunderbirds against the Utah Utes. That's just.
I saw that, dude.
Fun game to me. Both the Utah teams teeing it up.
FC,
so that's a good one to me.
Yes.
And then one that I saw that also seems interesting is Penn State against West Virginia.
Yep, that was my second game, actually.
Another sneaky one I think is going to be a lot of fun.
Another two states that can't stand each other. When West Virginia plays against Pittsburgh, it's almost an all-out brawl every single game in the parking lot, stadium, you name it. They can't stand each other. Penn State coming off a decent season last year, and West Virginia is probably at an all-time low. They haven't been worse, they are about as worse as they can be. And I think Penn State is absolutely going to roll. But here's the thing. They're going to West Virginia. Now, that is one of the nastiest that is one of the nastiest stadiums to play in ever, dude. I was an Oklahoma fan growing up. I mean, you see beer cans flying, beer bottles going this. I mean, it's not a huge stadium. It's not huge. It's like one of the smallest, I think, in the Big 12.
And you were there on the live. I said that, they're going to be Georgia Tech against Florida is going to be a little bit of a fun one.
I should have went with my gut on that one.
They're going to be in a different stadium. It's going to be a little bit rowdy. They're going to be a little bit jet lagged. They're not going to win that football game.
I literally should have went with my gut with the small team always winning, but I didn't. I went with the other psychopaths that are going with Florida State and DJ. I don't even know how to say his last name, but that kid's atrocious.
Or whatever. Yeah, I got crazy.
I think that Penn State.
I thought that game was so funny just because, like,
yeah, dude. I mean, he's already transferred twice
there with nothing to lose, right? Like, oh, cool. We get to go to Dublin, Ireland. We get to hang out a little bit. Well, we get to try to play a ranked team. Like, this is going to be awesome. We're going to come prepared. Florida State was like, oh, we're going to beat these scrubs. Let's just go have a little bit of a good time. Let's stay out a little bit late, get a little loose. That's what I think happened. And they went out there and they got smacked up.
They did. There's no excuses for that performance by Florida State, but they have the worst defensive in the country. Mark my words, quote it, write it down. That was so bad. If anybody watches that film, if that coach watches that film, the next team that they're playing, and they don't run the ball 90% of the time, they are stupid and should be fired and hire me. I mean, these guys, these defensive linemen and linebackers were non-existent. I mean, this quarterback and their running back ran all over them. They didn't even throw that ball. They barely threw it. They had a few big plays, but it was majority running the football. It was pretty bad.
There was some like running plays where it was like, dude, that you'd have to be a blind monk not to find that hole.
Yeah, that too.
Like, bye. You just spread the fucking defense out. I was like, oh my God.
It was just non-existent. I was just like, how?
Who else is on the schedule this year?
Florida State's got a tough schedule, dude. Pull it up. We just pulled it up a few days ago because we are so shocked by, like, honestly, the performance.
On the next live, I want to get everybody to do a.
We'll do a prediction for their.
For what, like, we should put their schedule. No, not even that. Sure. Pull up their schedule and try to figure out what team is going to run for the most yards on it.
Yeah, I probably already have a prediction.
I'm just looking at it. I'm like, there's some teams out here who like to play some big boy football.
Oh yeah, dude. What's their schedule looking like?
Next week. They got Boston College, which
Boston College is gonna win. Mark my words. This is the year that Boston College wins that football game. They are hyped up. They are ready to go. I'm seeing their social media. They are on fire. Yep. Florida State doesn't know what's coming.
They got Memphis after that.
That's a loss.
Then Cal.
They're beating Cal. Sorry. Memphis is one of those non-power 5 teams that has a chance to slip in the playoffs, and Florida State just lost to Georgia Tech. So anything's possible, but Cal's
got SMU.
Dub. They almost lost to Nevada last week.
Then they got Clemson, who's going to just run for $1 billion.
I think Clemson's just going to run the football.
Yeah. And then you got Duke.
I think Duke plays them hard. Duke, I mean, they're kind of almost a dark horse every year in the ACC, so.
Then you got Miami.
Miami's not bad this year.
Nope. Then you got UNC.
That's another tough. I mean, this is a tough schedule for them. Like, this is not a cakewalk. I don't think this team does anything this season.
They got Notre Dame.
That'll be a toss-up because I can't stand Notre Dame. Those fucking idiots.
And they got Charleston Southern.
The FCS school. That should be a freaking slaughter.
Mm-hmm. And then they got Florida. And I think Florida's another contender.
Are they playing at the Swamp?
They are not at the Swamp.
Damn it. Nobody beats them in the Swamp, dude. I put money down on freaking LSU or somebody last year to Tennessee to beat Florida in the Swamp. Didn't look that Tennessee hasn't beat them in the Swamp like the last 3 times. Cool. But yeah, going back to the Penn State West Virginia game, West Virginia I think has no chance, but it's a nasty stadium. Anything can happen. One other game that kind of stuck out to me was Notre Dame versus Texas A&M.
Mm.
Both are teams. Texas A&M has always been that team that's just like,
where are they
it's
playing?
kind of hard to explain. I think they're at actually it might be a neutral site. I need to look this up. Because Texas A&M has one of the hardest.
What even is? Why do they do neutral sites? I don't understand that.
It's just to provide. You know how they played like in Ireland and stuff for the Georgia Tech game. It's literally just to bring. I think it's just to bring more revenue and bring more people to the game.
Yeah, because every time the reason I ask that is because every time I win the national championship, CFB 2025, I always end up playing at Allegiant Stadium, which is cool. You know, I'm a Raiders fan, but I'm like, why do I keep on like? I should be playing at home. This is like I just won the championship.
Damn, it doesn't even show. I'm not even seeing where they're playing at. I think it's a neutral site.
Not telling me either. Let's see, buy tickets.
Yeah, go there because I guarantee it has. They got to be playing at a neutral site because they wouldn't allow. Oh, thank God! I was about to say, I was like, oh, they're not going to allow Notre Dame, the independent school, not to play at Texas A&M. Freaking bullshit. But I'm rooting for Texas A&M on that one. Can't stand Notre Dame. I think the college football committee and everybody that is in charge of their schedule and providing them with so much hype should be shot dead. I think Notre Dame is just one of those schools that has it easy every year because they're not in a conference. So it's automatically looked that, oh, man, they're not in a conference. They don't got to fight for a spot. They can lose a handful of games as long as they're ranked and as long as they have a winning schedule. NCAA, they're just going to slurp them up. They're just going to slurp them up. They're going to slurp Notre Dame up. And I can't stand Notre Dame. So Texas A&M, that's a win in my book. There's a few other games I have, but there's one more that I have, and this is kind of just a shout out to Yaya. Yaya is flying to Vegas.
Here we go.
I believe this weekend to watch LSU take on USC. I think this is a pretty anticipated matchup, and both teams lost their quarterback last year in the draft.
Yep.
You have LSU with Nussmeier. He played a little bit last year. He's the backup. He's been their backup. This is his junior season, I believe. Yaya, you might want to come quote me. I think it's his junior or senior season. Not 100% sure there, but he's been backup to damn it, why am I forgetting his name? Oh, is LSU? I mean, he fucking won the damn Heisman. Jaden Daniels. There it is. Jaden Daniels. Big shoes to fill. And honestly, dude, I've been saying that I think LSU is just going to cakewalk over USC, but I'm kind of forgetting that LSU did lose a big part of their game as well. Same with USC, but USC's defense is always so bad. I mean, as long as LSU,
lost, they also lost Rice. They lost a couple other players. Both teams had some key losses.
Sure, and I think it's going to be a close game. But I don't think part of me is been saying that I think LSU is just going to run all over them because USC's defense is not good. LSU's defense has proven in the past that they're good. They have a top 5. I believe he's number 3 on most people's list. I can't remember his name. Linebacker. He is money for LSU. Really good. And USC is just kind of one of those teams that I just fancy. As soon as LSU starts getting on a roll, I think in that passing game and just beating those boys up front, I think it's just going to wear down on USC, and I don't think that they're going to be able to recover. This is not a Pac-12 game. You're not playing against Cal and almost losing. You're not doing a 56-48 game. At least I don't think so, because I think LSU's defense is decent to keep that offense contained. Right. But I also think I just think LSU, once they get on a roll, I think it's going to be over with.
Right.
So what do you think? You thinking Gatsby go away? You thinking LSU or USC in this one?
Just because of the defensive ability on LSU, I'm going to give it to LSU.
Sure.
I don't know enough about either team because, again, I'm a college football fan as far as pretty much Michigan goes. But
sure.
Outside of that, I'm not super well polished. I gotta
you're good.
Game there, but So there's some games I'm excited for, but as far as talk about like who I think is gonna smash or whatever, I don't not positive. I'm gonna give it to LSU just because their defense, from what I've seen, better.
Yeah. I think we got as most of you guys are, fans of college football. I mean, we are, most of us are pretty diehard. Like, we're extremely pumped for the season. And kind of going into our last topic before we get into our little bit of our fun section, we're going to talk about Ohio State just for a little bit. So Ohio State just released that they are a $20 million team. And I think what that means is that the NIL deals and everything else that they generate is making them a very wealthy and talked about team.
Mm-hmm.
Head coach Ryan Day, just kind of going into a little bit of stats here. He's 53-8 in FBS games. No national championships, and is a big fat goose egg against Michigan. Can't beat the team up north. Can't do it. He has not been able to do it. And this is where I kind of go back into Ohio State. Like, I feel like Ohio State is the perfect example of just being on the cusp ever since that 2014 Natty. I believe they played Baker Mayfield, my Sooners, in a big bowl game. I forgot. This is, I think, the year we went and played Georgia. Was that 2018? We lost to Georgia in the – no, that wouldn't make sense. No,
you guys lost to Ohio State at one point.
We played – no, because Baker Mayfield –
No, with Baker, because do you remember Nick Bosa planted the Ohio State flag on the Sooners logo?
Oh, here it is. We beat Ohio State in 2017. 31-16. They were number 2, and we were number 5. And yeah, Baker Mayfield. That was when he spiked the flag, I believe, into the stadium after the game.
Was that when that happened?
Yeah, that's exactly when it happened. And then I don't know who we went on to play after that, but I'm assuming that it probably wasn't good, knowing Oklahoma. I don't know.
I'm going back real quick.
But Ohio State since then, they've always just been – so you have that gap between 2014 and 2018. I think they were pretty decent between there. They couldn't have dropped off too much. But Ohio State, as of recent, in the last – I feel like from 2018 on – I don't know if I'm correct, because they've always been pretty ranked and always a very hyped-up team, but they've always just been on the cusp of just being great, I feel like. And they just have not been able to get there. And losing to Michigan 3 times with head coach Ryan Day, I mean, that's kind of pathetic. I'm sorry. Like, this is such a big rivalry, knowing T-Lou right here, big Michigan guy. How do you feel about that, man? I mean, it must feel great, because that rivalry is so unmatched. Just them in the locker room,
Ryan Day is. You can't even. You're in the game. You can't win the game. Childish.
But it's just funny to me.
Thinking his lucky stars that J.J. McCarthy got drafted this season, because if not, it would be another shellacking of the Ohio State Buckeyes by the Michigan Wolverines. And it's going to happen again this year, unfortunately, for Ryan Day, and this might be his last.
I think so, too. You lose 4 times to Michigan.
They go out there, they're going to buy all these players. Oh, yeah, we got all this NIL money. We spent $20 million. It's not going to make a difference. Just won't.
Yeah, I agree, dude. I think
Ohio State. Last couple of years they've had to play in the big house. This year it's at Ohio State, but it doesn't even matter, because the Michigan fans are going to show up in force. This is going to be a home game. It's going to be a home game. Yeah. And we're going to win. Then after we beat them, we're going to go on to win another national championship 2 times in a row. And it's just going to be, everybody's going to have to be like, if you're not on the wagon, get on, because it's not stopping.
Yeah, dude. I mean, great explanation there. I love it. The passion, I could just see it. And I think Michigan, those fans are going to paint that town a new color, if you know what I'm saying. The horseshoe doesn't know what's coming.
Amazing.
But I also agree, dude. I think Ohio State's losing, but where does that leave Ryan Day at the end of the year? He loses again to Michigan. Do they fire him? Ohio State,
he's going to be coaching Bowling Green next year. Next year, Ryan Day will be coaching Bowling Green.
Bowling Green, Central Michigan, you name it. He's coaching. But I mean, this is a big season. I mean, he's got all the cards aligned. They signed 2 SEC transfers. Safety Caleb Downs from Alabama. He was really good. He had, if I'm reading this right, I can't even read my own handwriting. Great. Well, he had 107 total tackles while he was with Alabama. Pretty damn good safety. And then Quinshawn Juggins from Ole Miss. running back, transferred to Ohio State, 271 carries, 1,100 yards, 15 TDs in 2023. 2022, he had 274 carries for 1,567 yards, 16 TDs. He's a good running back. That is a big pickup for them. He was, I think, the third in total yards, I believe, in SEC running backs last season. He's a big name. Most people know him. I think that's going to help Ohio State a lot. But do I think Ohio State's going to do what they do for what they've been doing? I feel like for the last few years, which is like you play in these big games, they lose. Michigan,
Ryan Day's just not a good coach. I don't think
not on the cusp. They're just right on the cusp of being a great team, and they have all the cards aligned. Every year they have 5 stars, great recruiting class. But it seems like from that 2018 season and then the 2014, whatever in between, it seems like after that they've just been on kind of the cusp of being great.
You don't have
the record's normally good.
You go out there against Michigan and you let your star wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. get clamped up by Will Johnson all game.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, if I'm any team, I believe Marvin Harrison, he is still with Ohio State, if I'm not mistaken, or did he get drafted?
The number 4 draft pick?
No, he was drafted. I thought I heard somewhere. I'm pretty stupid, So sometimes it just happens. But I could have sworn I read somewhere where he was like deciding whether or not he wanted the NIL money or something, or was he a senior? I don't know. Don't know much about Marvin Harrison Jr. Probably should have known he got drafted. Dad, whatever.
Let it out.
So I think Ohio State's just going to fall on their face again and come up short when the big game is needed. And Ryan Day his career is kind of it's on the cusp. We'll see what happens, dude. Cards are in his hands, see if he plays them right.
Ryan Day, your ass is grass.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm the lawnmower.
That's where we put grass on.
Yeah.
The lawn. Where the lawn is. Backyard. Barbecues, food, meals. Our next topic is going to be famous meals of death row inmates. So
great introduction. Yes, we are getting into this. This is
a little bit a couple times, but
it's okay. We're all right.
We still got there. Right. At the end of the day, we got there.
We recover.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey.
Yes, and I'm super pumped for this. I think I saw some guy popped up on my Instagram of this dude making and then rating all the meals from famous inmates, with their on death row. And it was pretty cool. And I was just it popped in my head. I was like, why don't we rank these? So here we go. Tyler, would you like to share the screen and let's get this started?
I would love to. All right, everybody. Let's see what we got here. How do we want to do this?
Here we go.
There we go.
Perfect. That should work, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. Can everybody see that well enough? Should I zoom in a little bit more?
I think it's all right, dude. We can say it. They'll get the point.
All right. So these are some
starting off hot.
Historic meals from death row inmates, some of the worst of the worst. We're going to see if these terrible people had good taste. And we're going to go through these and say if we'd eat it, if we wouldn't eat it, or if we might take a few bites, but there's no way we're finishing all that. Starting off, John Wayne Gacy, who I want to read the sentences here, was put to death in Illinois by lethal injection at the age of 52. He was sentenced to death for rape and 33 counts of murder.
When I tell you guys, if you guys don't know much about John Wayne Gacy, he, in my opinion, is probably one of the worst criminals of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Just heinous, disgusting acts. And, if the lethal injection didn't get him, those inmates would. Because I know for a fact they weren't letting him in General Pop. Those guys would eat him alive. But moving on to that.
What's worse, death row or Gen Pop for these kind of guys? That's my question. But we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah.
As far as his last meal went, he requested 12 fried shrimp, a bucket of original recipe KFC, French fries, and a pound of strawberries. Now, bad person. Not saying he was a good guy. This is fire.
I know, dude. I was looking at this meal before we even started, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm fucking this shit up. I mean, dude, I am housing all of that probably. I'm not even gonna lie. The French fries, bam, fried shrimp, boom. That was kind of a dope request by him.
You know what? You get me some buffalo sauce and like some maybe some cocktail sauce for them scrimps.
He had to have asked for some sort of condiment too.
And you know what?
Hot sauce on that chicken.
The only thing I see wrong with this, I don't think he asked for enough shrimp.
I don't think so either. I think he should have gotten at least 20.
24. Yeah.
Yes, 20 to 25 piece fried shrimp. The strawberries are kind of a nice little sweet treat at the end.
Yeah,
but,
and this is like, once I'm done, like you asked for a whole bucket at KFC, right? That's a lot.
And that KFC back in the day now, that's a little different. That original recipe was like crack back in the day. So, I'm fucking that shit up.
And once I'm done with my shrimp and I'm eating this chicken, I'm like, fuck, man, I wish I had more shrimp.
Yeah.
That's all
I agree, dude. Those little fried shrimps are so easy to eat.
So
yummy.
Again, terrible person,
horrible person.
Things we don't condone that,
but that last meal,
that right there, I'd eat the whole fucking thing.
I'm telling you, man. Ice cold beer and you gotta freaking win. Dumb. Yeah. All right, moving on. Timothy McVeigh, everybody.
Yep, Timothy McVeigh. Now I'm going to read
don't know
his crime.
Yes.
Timothy McVeigh, the American terrorist behind the Oklahoma City bombing, was put to death in Indiana by lethal injection at the age of 33. And he was sentenced to death for 168 counts of murder.
Which is an
bad guy.
Unreal number.
It is reflected in his final meal.
Yeah, unreal number, horrible person.
McVeigh requested 2 pints of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Now, I'm not fucking this up.
I'm not going to say, okay, this wouldn't really be like something that I'm like, man, like that's what I want as my last meal. But I'm a big mint chip ice cream fan and kind of a big back. So am I finishing it? Who knows? Might get a tummy ache, but I'm going to take some of it down. I love mint chip ice cream, but that's just a wild.
My thing with this is,
it's such a wild request, I think.
Yeah,
you could have had such a more rounded meal.
You could have asked for 2 pints of ice cream and something else.
That's what I'm saying.
But you pigeonholed yourself.
You could have had such a well-balanced meal.
You could have asked for some chocolate chip cookies to put the ice cream in.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe a little chocolate drizzle or some toppings or something.
Cone, maybe like a waffle cone and some sprinkles or something.
I bet you ate the spoon too.
Probably.
God. I'm
crazy.
It's not my high, my top list for meals, on those death row inmates, but mint chip, it ain't bad. It's good stuff.
I'd have been sitting there thinking like, man, like once it got there, I feel like maybe he was just craving it. And once it got there, he's like, should have asked for a couple other things.
Yeah. So, he got there. He's like, well, too late.
Ricky Ray
Rector. I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah. He was put to death in Arkansas by lethal injection at the age of 42. He was sentenced to death for 2 counts of murder.
Okay, it has to be a pretty wild 2 counts of murder.
He must have done something crazy.
Yeah, it must have been wild for him to get death. I mean, I don't know that, some states are different, dude. Who knows? Arkansas could be a little bit wild.
For his last meal, Rector, mentally incapacitated during his time on death row, his defense team argued. Okay. They're saying he was mentally incapacitated during his time on death row. That's his defense team's argument, trying to get him off. I guess he requested steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie. He left the pecan pie behind, telling guards that he was saving it for later. Now that's a cold line. Fucked up guy.
I'm sorry.
That is ice cold.
That is so ice cold.
Hey, you forgot to eat your pie. He goes, nah, man. Save it for
later. This guy really think he was surviving the lethal injection. He's just like, he just pulls it out of his heart. He's like, really, guys, come on. But that's kind of hard. But okay. I mean, the pecan pie, that's a no for me, dog. Get that shit out of there. I mean, like,
I realized that there might have some comments where I just said pecan. What did I say? Pecan. That's why I did both. Who knows? That, but you guys put in the comments if I said it wrong the first time. I think I said pecan or pecan. I can't remember, but
tomato. But
he had a little bit of pie, then he didn't eat it. I don't like the decision of the cherry Kool-Aid. I think there's multiple other Kool-Aid flavors.
I think there's better
I would
flavor.
have gone maybe
Kool-Aids.
but now I'm thinking about it. I'd maybe gone fruit
Cherry
punch.
Kool-Aid's not bad, but it's not my first choice of Kool-Aid.
Yeah, or like I think grape Kool-Aid is the best.
Yeah, that stuff is pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a little wild for last drink. Not bad. Pecan pie, I could have done with any other pie. Not saying I wouldn't eat a pecan pie, but Now fried chicken and steak, huh?
Have you ever had it?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't love it. I don't think it's great.
I think it's decent. I'm not saying it's the worst dessert I've had, but now the steak and the chicken, both pretty solid, but like where are like the sides?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. I was just like
green bean casserole or something.
Green bean casserole, little mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese,
potato.
dude. Where's the mashed potatoes? Where's the freaking
scallop potatoes? Be fire on that plate.
Yeah, 100%, dude. I mean, like maybe a little watermelon, some good fruit. Like you don't have anything there. Maybe some French fries. Maybe some buffalo chicken dip. Holy shit, that shit's gas.
A bowl of grapes, maybe.
Bowl of grapes, something to even it out a little bit. I think that's just a wild thing. So moving on. Steven,
we didn't rate it. Oh, I would partake. I wouldn't eat the whole thing. I think it's okay.
I would not. I would probably finish the chicken and the steak, but I would not eat the pecan pie, and I probably would maybe finish the Kool-Aid. I think
I get half.
Yeah, something to wash it down, and then I'm like, all right. Well,
I'm drinking half that Kool-Aid.
Exactly. Steven Anderson.
Now this is where we knock it up a little bit. This is a good.
Okay, yeah, this seems like a decent.
Try this first before I start saying how awesome it is.
Seems decent.
Death in California by lethal injection at the age of 49. He was sentenced to death for burglary, assault, and 7 counts of murder and escaping from prison.
Whoa, renegade!
For his last meal, Anderson requested 2 grilled cheese sandwiches, a pint of cottage cheese, a hominy corn mixture, peach pie, chocolate chip ice cream, and radishes.
Okay.
I'm eating the peach pie. I'm eating the grilled cheeses. I'm eating the ice cream. Keep this whole plate right here. All of this. Keep it as far away from me as possible. I don't want.
My question is, who cooked for this kid as a kid? Like, who cooked for this guy as a kid? Like, how old is he? Like, why that? Like, no offense, but radishes? Are you fucking kidding me? Radishes as like, in a pint of cottage cheese. Like the hominy / corn mixture, that is not horrible. But dude, you can keep the cottage cheese, you can keep the freaking radishes. I'm slamming the grilled cheeses, I'm slamming the ice cream, and I'm slamming the cookies.
Those are like they don't.
One bite of the corn mixture, everything else can just.
Those are like mom's. Those are mom's grilled cheese. Those aren't like fancy grilled cheese at some bullshit. That's not like that's Wonder Bread.
That's Kirkland American cheese right there, dude.
Which is the best thing on the planet. Just a grilled cheese with some.
Oh yeah, dude.
Old-fashioned white bread and like.
I'm kind of a sicko for tomato soup with that, but.
Oh, dude, give me a bowl of tomato soup and I'll tear it up.
You're a fan of tomato soup? Oh, dude, good to know, dude. Man,
I like to go to Panera.
Oh
I get the soup from there. I come home, I grill up a couple grilled cheeses, or even like the Campbell's that like the box.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good, dude. Tomato soup is just perfect for that. So I would eat some of it, not all of it.
Yeah, I might have that for dinner actually. Angel Neves Diaz. Angel Neves Diaz was put to death in Florida by lethal injection at the age of 55. He was sentenced to death for murder, kidnapping, and armed robbery.
Okay, a little bit of everything.
He was served the irregular prison meal, which he declined to eat as well.
Okay, so this guy just wanted to starve. Well, there's not really anything ranking this, but you can rank the prison meal. Ooh. I don't know. Depends on what's in the prison meal.
Like, you're gonna die. It's over. You not eating is just what's the fun in that, right? Like,
what's the point? Like, you might as well, dude, order a freaking whole cow, brother. Like, do something. Like, nothing. Yeah,
no.
Nothing. He was a horrible person, but like nothing. Jesus Christ.
We're ranking this. Obviously, I'm not going to eat that, Trey.
Dude. Thumbs down. Not good stuff.
Fancy. Ronnie Lee Gardner.
Okay.
Ronnie Lee Gardner was put to death in Utah by firing squad at the age of 49.
He got firing squad? Okay, when was this? Like, when the fuck was this going down?
It wasn't too long ago. He asked for fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have been that long ago.
Burglary, robbery, and 2 counts of murder, which doesn't seem like a row thing.
But it's Utah, dude. That's the thing. Utah's laws are freaking insane, bro. You could probably go to jail for the rest of your life for drinking a beer.
For his last meal, Gardner requested steak, a lobster tail, apple pie, vanilla ice cream, and to eat it all while watching the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This is my second favorite one so far. This is
I think this is my second one favorite. Like, I'd eat everything on that plate.
Still, John Wayne Gacy, fucked up guy, banging food.
Banging food.
This is just smart because lobster tail and steak, obviously going to be great. Apple pie and vanilla ice cream, banging combo. But then you say you want to watch Lord of the that takes like 10 hours.
I know. He was in it for the long run right there. That's a smart move.
The only drawback for me on this, no Bev. He just took straight up water.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe something, dude. Soda, beer, like, dude, it's your last meal. Drink something. Maybe a freaking gallon of vodka.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're getting firing squad.
I would eat the entire thing and enjoy every bite of it. So, number 2 for me so far.
100%. Yeah, I'd fuck that shit up.
Okay.
Oh, Ted Bundy here.
Now, I don't want you guys to get crazy. Ted Bundy's one of the worst individuals of all time.
Yeah, he's up there with John Wayne Gacy for sure.
This
like, those two are just
fucking good.
This looks so freaking fat. This stuff looks good. Oh my god.
Ted Bundy, one of the most notorious serial killers in American history, was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 43. He was sentenced to death for rape, necrophilia, that's having sex with dead bodies, for the kids watching, prison escape, and more than 35 counts of murder.
Okay, yeah.
Bundy declined a special meal, so he was given a traditional last meal. Steak cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter, and jelly, milk, and juice. So he said no, but this is the normal last meal. This is what you just get.
Yeah, it's just kind of the standard one. If you don't have one, dude, that's honestly, I'm fucking all that shit up. Everything that's on that plate.
I'm tearing that up too, for sure.
Yeah, it's over with.
I think I'm having this for dinner tomorrow night. Like I told my girl, let's make breakfast for dinner. I think this is what I'm eating.
Toast with jelly, bro. Oh my god. A little bit of hash browns.
When you go to Beebs in Livermore and you get the little jelly packets and you get the or whatever, dude.
Oh yeah. Man, that's a good one. That is a good one. I'm definitely eating that.
I think this is my number 3 so far. But I'm eating the whole thing.
Me too. Yeah. Just because it's not that special, it's the traditional, but it's good. I'm eating it all.
Alan Lee Tiny Davis. This is another decent one. Alan Lee Tiny Davis was put to death in Florida by electric chair at the age of 54. He was sentenced to death for robbery and 3 counts of murder.
Okay.
For his last meal, Davis requested lobster tail, fried potatoes, half a pound of fried see, now we're talking. Half a pound of fried shrimp, 6 ounces of fried clams, you lost me, half a loaf of garlic bread, and 32 ounces of A&W root beer.
I am back. Okay. Everything on that thing I would fuck up. The clams, I've had clams before. You got to douse them in hot sauce, in my opinion. That's the only way to eat them. And I don't think he's got any hot sauce.
Some cocktail sauce here. Give me some cocktail sauce.
But the A&W root beer, heat. I think that just rounds out the meal, dude. I love that. The garlic bread, too. I think I'd fuck this shit up. I mean, it's definitely up there. Probably tied with God, what was the one that
I'm tying that one up with Gacy's.
I think so too. I think it's too good not to do it.
I think Gacy's is still just so superior.
I think the pound of strawberries is kind of a superior move. So he was a heavy set guy, man. Trying to watch his figure.
Oh God!
Teresa Lewis.
Yep. Teresa Lewis put to death in Virginia by lethal injection at the age of 41. She was sentenced to death for murder, conspiracy, and robbery. For her last meal, Lewis requested fried chicken, peas with butter, apple pie, and a Dr. Pepper.
God, that fried chicken looks ass on this screen, but I know that's not what it looked like. It had to be some good shit.
McDonald's apple pie. McDonald's apple pies are great, but I would put this towards. I'd eat a couple things off the plate.
I'd probably eat the fried chicken if it was good. I'm eating apple pie, but the peas you could probably keep away from me, and I'll probably slam the Dr. Pepper.
Yep. Ugh.
Ooh, what the fuck?
Sacco and Vanzetti.
Okay.
All right. Ferdinando and Bartholomew were put to death in Massachusetts by electric chair at the ages of 36 and 39, respectively. They were sentenced to death on 2 counts of murder for their last meals. Sacco and Vanzetti requested soup, tea, meat, and toast.
That is just a wild. I'm sorry, that's just weird.
Ooh,
That's
that
weird to
sucks.
me.
Look at this one. In 1977, the governor of Massachusetts issued a statement saying that they had been unfairly tried and convicted. The case has been open ever since. So they didn't even do it.
Whoa. Okay, so they were, but it says they were put to death.
They died. Yeah, they got killed for it.
Oh, but and then afterwards they're like, oh, dude,
And
that's
the real
just
tragedy is that they got put to death wrongly, and they ordered this shit. What
yeah,
the fuck
dude. I'm
is
sorry.
that?
The
not
only
eating
thing I'm
that.
eating
I'm
on
not-
that
this,
is
this is at the second to worst because that one
God,
got me. This is
I
terrible.
mean, toast with what? There's nothing there. What's on the steak, dude? Do they just freaking?
Is
Oh,
that just
okay.
barbecue? That just looks sick. I'm moving on.
Yeah, I'm not
Oh
eating that.
God, what is
Jesus,
this?
Ronnie Threadgill.
Put to death in Texas. He was sentenced to death for murder. One murder in Texas gets you the death penalty.
Yeah,
So
dude, they don't fuck around there.
for his last meal, Fred Gill requested a baked chicken, done, mashed potatoes with country gravy, vegetables, sweet peas, bread, tea, water, and punch. However, Texas abolished last meal choices in 2011. Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh, that is fucked up. Well, he is fucked up, but yeah, I'm not eating anything on that plate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
It's just right there with the last one, dude.
All right, here we go. Henry Hargreaves. I don't even know what that
the
is.
Fuck?
I think we're at the end of the list here.
Oh, maybe that's
This is
it.
the artist who did all this shit. Okay, we reached the end.
We reached the end.
I still think that number one for me personally is going to be, again, terrible person, did some bad things. Don't kill people, kids. John Wayne Gacy.
I'm also going with the
giant tray of food. That looks fantastic.
He went all out. Horrible person. I mean, probably. I mean, it's literally a coin toss. I think between him and Ted Bundy. Every day you can wake up and be like heads or tails.
I think like Hitler still takes the cake, and I'd love to know what his last meal was. Probably like sauerkraut.
I mean, didn't he fucking kill himself?
He did kill himself. I wonder what he ate right before. Aren't you ever curious?
Yeah, you're supposed to be all this rough and tough guy, and then he goes and does that.
I'm a big tough guy. I'm gonna shoot myself in the head in the bunker. But I do want to know what he ate right before he did it.
I do too, man. Was it a sauerkraut or a fucking toast with some schlop they made up?
Maybe
dude. I don't know, dude. Some of that stuff during the war could have been good. Oh, he's probably eating like a king, but whatever. Horrible person yet again. But John Wayne Gacy is definitely up there. I think his and Ted Bundy's is pretty good. There's another one on there that wasn't bad. The fried shrimp is a real good, it's a go-to. I think the fried shrimp is good stuff. But yeah, I think that brings us to the end. If anybody who's going to be watching this in the future, put your list in the predictions with serial killers. Last meal. I can't speak. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, let us know which one you would eat the most.
Yes. If you think it's John Gacy, agree with us. If not, give us your opinion. See what you would eat. See what you wouldn't. And flood the comments with that stuff. We appreciate you guys tuning in like always. And we will be back, I believe, this week again or next Monday. So we're going to be going weekly, I think, from this point out. And like, subscribe, share it. Go to Settle Down. Follow us. Share it to your grandmother, cousins, everybody. Put it out. And go watch all the boys' segments as well. College football, NFL, NHL. We got it all. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. And that's it. See you next week.
Thanks, everybody.